What's up guys, Caleb here from Micromoneymania. I just wanted to make this quick video and just go over a little bit of what our strategy has been in the market and how we're winning in the market right now by investing in the OTC stocks long term. And before I get into it, I just want to preface that we're not at the forefront of this investing strategy. We didn't invent it or come up with it. There are some other people who are pretty prominent on social media, and I won't mention any names because I do not have a personal relationship with them. But just to know that they kind of started this trend and recognized this trend before I did. But I agree with it, and I have my own spin and twist on the way I do things. But I'm making this video for purely educational purposes to get it out there for people to watch. There's not a video like this on YouTube that literally just breaks down what's going on and why this is working in the market. So that's what I wanted to do. I have about 2 years experience solely in the OTC market, which is basically the wild, wild west of the stock market. Pretty much anything goes. There's a lot of deception, a lot of fraud, that sort of thing, which is why it's so taboo to invest in companies for the long term in the OTC market, which is what we have been doing with good success. But I'm going to show you what to look for, how to find those companies, and look at the results of that. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean just go invest in any old company in the OTC for the long term. That's going to get you burned. It takes some research to find the right companies. It takes time to watch them develop, and we're always reassessing the situation. We're always making sure that what the company is doing is confirming sort of the ideas that we have when we're looking for something along those lines. So without further ado, I won't ramble on too much more about this. I do want to look at BYOC is the ticker of this company. And it's kind of the model stock and kind of the first one that's came down the pipes this way, and there are more to follow, and I'll show one or two of them later. But basically, I have the chart right here, the blue chart, that shows the stock's price point throughout the last year, and then I have the accumulation graph. And I'll start with accumulation. When looking at long-term OTC stocks, you see the gradual uptrend of accumulation here. And what that means is over the last year, people have been continuously buying shares and not selling. A lot more shares are being bought and held as opposed to bought and sold, which is a very good thing when you're looking at the prospects of an OTC long-term hold. And you can see the stock chart in the last year. It started on the ground floor. I mean, it was literally as low as you can go at times, 0.0001 at times, which is crazy. Crazy to think that the stock was that low. But you can see as the company kind of became functional and started doing all the things they said they were going to do, and have been working, continuing to uplist, and doing everything right that you look for in these companies. You see the stock quickly went all the way up to 14 cents, but not in a spike fashion, not in a quick day or two spike. It's a gradual uptrend. It picked it up a little through here, but still, multiple days, a slow grind up to that point. It took a dip down to 9 cents and then back up, and it tested 14 again. And it's been right around there. I had a dip for a while, but it's began the gradual uptrend again. And all the whole time, all in the while, accumulation never slowed down. The stock was continuously being bought more than it was being sold. Shares were being held on to. So that being said, what we're looking for in these companies is one, they can't be diluting their share structure. That's the first sign of just a scam, a company that has no money, that's not doing things right. they have to sell shares to issue new shares just to stay afloat and have money. And who knows what they're using that money for. But BYOC hasn't been diluting shares, and they've been really upfront and transparent, which is what you need from the OTC, because not too many companies are transparent in the OTC. So look for that. Continuously check the share structure. You can do that on otcmarket.com. And make sure that shares aren't being issued, sold, that sort of thing. And next, you need to look into leadership. So find the CEO and start your basic research. See what he or she has been involved with in the past. See if they've been involved in any scams. If not, that's definitely a good thing. But also see what companies they've been involved with and where those companies have gone. How involved were they? Did they have a high position? Is this their first rodeo? That sort of thing. And just because maybe they don't have much history doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. But anything you can find that reinforces that they're from a good background with good leadership and a high morality of leadership, meaning that they want to do things right, it's always a good sign. So we're always looking for things to reconfirm what we think about these stocks and about these companies. And BYOC is checked out to this point for those categories. So the next thing that we look for is what the business is doing and where it's going. Leadership has to set a clear goal of what they want to do, and then we have to see it being accomplished. A lot of companies put out a lot of talk, a lot of hype, a lot of PR, and then it never goes anywhere. It never picks up, it never progresses, and then they go silent. That's not what we want. That's not being transparent, and normally if that happens and we're in a company, we hit the road. But normally we find out beforehand, and we're not even in stocks like that. So, but that's one thing to look out for when you're investing in the long term for OTC stocks, is make sure they are continuously updating and making progress towards their goals that they're laying out. They're laying out for shareholders. That's very important. Next, getting current and transparent kind of builds upon that. Not all these stocks are current. A lot of times people inherit horrible share structures and defunct financial situations. It does take time for these places to get current, so give them time, but make sure they're working towards that when investing. BYOC is actually recently uplisted to the OTC QB boards, and basically that just means they're moving up from OTC Pink. OTC Pink is basically the bottom of the barrel. So the company working on doing that and getting things done. Also a good sign. There's no need to be overly technical on the charts. You know, I mean, you can look for dip buys, which is just more common sense than technicality. Look for dip buys. There's a great opportunity to get in at 5 just a couple months ago, and then again low here in May. You've basically already doubled your money if you did that. So those are just a few things we look for in BYOC. It already developed, but as you can see, if you get in at ground level, $100 becomes, you know, here it was almost $150,000 if you got in at 0001, where the company was just, you know, less than a year ago. So you really can make some huge money in this, and that's why we do it. It's not a trade. You don't have to be glued to your computer all day. You don't have to be checking your phone all day if you're on the move. These are pretty solid, secure stocks. If you have taken the time to research what you're investing, you're not worried about swings too much. So when the stock dropped like this, not worried about it that much. Really it's a loading time, and if you reloaded there, you've already made almost 100% of it back. So one of the reasons why we like doing this is it's very profitable if you find solid companies, and they are out there. It takes some research and some time to sift through everything. It's not always easy. Some days you'll go weeks without finding a company that you like, maybe months. And when that happens, we're just adding to the companies that we're confident in, which there's only a few out there. You're not going to find a company every day in the OTC, at least not yet. If that day comes, that would be great. That would mean a lot of people are cleaning up their act. But for now, you got to be happy with maybe finding one of these companies every few months. And BYOC is one of those, and you can see the chart setting up and the accumulation of how things look here. Very solid growth over the last year. I don't think anybody would complain about these gains. Accumulation is just solidly held, locking up that float. And honestly, it's getting so tight that I would expect to see a pop soon. But there's so many shares are getting locked up. It's definitely a good thing. So BYOC is kind of the model stock, and just because it's taken off doesn't mean it's a bad buy. Still a great buy here, in my opinion. We're still adding at times when we get dips and when they reconfirm or put out more that make us very pleased with the direction of the company. So definitely something to look for here when you're making investment decisions. This is a way to invest without trading, yet capture the rewards that good day traders do, which is a lot of money in a year. Long-term investing in big boards is great. I don't mind it at all. I've done it. It's just there are stocks out there in big boards that you can make 100% a year, but most of them follow the market and don't stray too far from market average, which is fine. But if you're like me, you're just hungry after bigger percentage gains, and you can accomplish this here without being glued to a computer all the time day trading. Let's take a look at another stock. ESI, another one that is kind of just getting started on. It was the same deal, 0001, just a few short months ago, all the way as almost beginning of this year, basically January of 18 is when it started its journey, and you can see what it's done. Went all the way up to a penny and a half, back down to 004, and now it's on its way back up again. But the whole time this accumulation is rising. So this one is in basically the early stages of what we looked at with BYOC. It is rising with accumulation. Shares are getting locked up. It had its initial run, cooled down, more people bought, and the stock is on the rise. So basically, this is in the ground floor stages. Another great buy, in my opinion. Here, the company meets all the requirements that we talked about earlier. The CEO has known work that you can go look at to see what he's been involved with in the past. The company's not diluting anything, just very solid with what they're doing, and they're accomplishing the goals that they're setting for themselves, and they're being transparent with shareholders. And really, when they're doing that, the revenue comes, and you got to believe in the business model as well. So you can see the accumulation is steadily rising, and I expect this to continue. I mean, I think we can check in 6 months and look and see where this company's went, and be happy with it. And I want to look at one that's even earlier stages, and a bit of a different play here, just a bit. But this one, let's go to the 1 year. We're in 5 year there. This one is OWVI, OWVI. Started in March. It became a reverse merger stock. So basically, they're moving a company into the shell of the stock. The custodianship owner has been doing everything right. He's got the company current. He's getting everything together to move a company in. And once again, this is really on ground floor, basically a tenth of a penny. Accumulation is solid already. No real spikes outside of the initial day or two when it really blew up. It backtracked for a while, but this happens. It takes time to get financials. It takes time to get a company merged in here. This is going to happen, and if you believe in what you're investing, it's a great time to add, because the CEO has done this multiple times. You can go back and look at the tickers that he's been involved with before and seen how they reacted when he did his custodianship and he just did his thing. Very solid just chart here. Very solid with the information that we have. Accumulation is steadily rising, and I fully expect a good solid company to be merged in here. And then at that point, who knows what happens. But at the very least, this maybe could be considered more of a swing trade with potential to be a long-term hold, as long as the custodianship CEO has this company. I'll be holding until they completely announce what they're doing, because of the history that they have. And if they move a solid company in here, it turns into a hold, a company that's going to do the right thing and you know, make things better for shareholders. So this is one that we're keeping an eye on and that we do have a position in, just because of how confident we are in the custodianship CEO and what he's getting done. So we're going to continue to hold. And we expect accumulation to just continue to be locked up and tighter. So the pattern with the last three stocks that I've showed you is that there's an initial run-up, some cooling off period, and then we start rolling for the long term, all while accumulation goes up. Just like any other investment, guys, there's going to be ups and downs because the stock prices are a lot smaller. You could buy and lose 50% in a couple days, but if the technicals are there, if what we talk about is there, then you just got to be patient and ride it out. And honestly, I would look to add to your position. But if you're not comfortable with that, at the very least, got to ride it out as long as the information holds true. You still believe in what the companies are doing. So basically, buying these long-term OTCs, it's risky if you pick the wrong company, because things can go south quick and you can lose. In the OTC, you can lose 90–95% of your position, really, in a matter of days. So definitely pay attention to what everybody else is doing. I encourage you to make a Twitter if you don't already have one, and follow some of these guys in the OTC that know what they're doing. I'm not going to throw any names out there besides mine, just because I haven't talked to anybody before I make this video. My name is at micromoneymania. That's my Twitter handle, micromoneymania. You can see it up here. Feel free to check it out. I post a lot of my thoughts and recommendations on there about what we're doing, and retweet a lot of the guys that I like as well. So check it out and familiarize yourself with long-term investing in the OTC. It sounds weird to say. It's a weird thought when I first started doing it, but it's paying off. And we think there are, these companies are rare, but they're out there. If you get on and just ride it out, I think we're going to see great returns. It removes the stresses of trading. If you have a everyday life and even a career. I own my own business. I like trading. I liked it, but I can't sit in front of a computer every day. Things come up, and I gotta be gone at times. I have a family as well, and I think everybody who trades knows that. If you're actively in a trade, everything else kind of gets moved to the back burner. So having these long-term investments have allowed me to relax on vacation. They've allowed me to really loosen up and not worry about my investments as much. And actually, I get excited to see a stock go down at times that I believe in. To grab something that I believe in this much at a 75% discount from where it was a month ago when I believed in it. I love that. So, and you can see if you grabbed it here, you've made your money back. You've already doubled your money. So it happens, and it's the way to go. But just continue to study and learn, and I'm going to try to make more videos like this because there's nothing on YouTube about long-term OTC market investing because it's a relatively new thing, and I may not be the most educated to relay this information to you, but at the very least I'm going to bring you what I know and what we're doing, and we'll adjust accordingly. But we just want to get this information out there for everyone to see. So thanks for watching, guys. This is going to be the first of many. Appreciate everybody who weighs in on Twitter and who we have good conversations with. We're going to get more active there, and we'll make the next video soon. Appreciate it, guys. Take it easy.